Hi class, I wanted to get in touch with you this week and provide you a little bit of an overview of Unit 3. This is our Thanksgiving week, and we're going to be focusing on requirements modeling starting today, November 22nd. I've already posted the to-do list for Unit 3, but just as a quick reminder, we do not have a seminar on Thursday because of the Thanksgiving holiday. Take your time to review this video, which will talk about the homework assignment at the end and cover some of the main points. Also make sure that you read through carefully Chapter 4 on requirements modeling. Working through the textbook will give you a lot of the main ideas that are not covered here, plus examples and additional ways to make sure that you're succeeding, including things on sampling and other topics that are relevant this week. Once you've done that, make sure that you participate on the Unit 3 discussion boards as normal. Even though this is a Thanksgiving holiday, you're still required to have 3 posts this week. The topics are on the planning phase, and there's also an option to choose current events. As always, you may choose one of the 2 options. You do not need to respond to both, but do make sure that you have 3 posts on 3 different days of substantive content. And then finally, make sure you complete the Unit 3 homework assignment, which is due at its normal time on Tuesday, November 28th at 11:59 p.m. Now, what does Unit 3 cover? Unit 3 really looks at the system analysis phase of the software development lifecycle or systems development lifecycle. You're going to be really taking a look at how do we start to get the information necessary to model the systems, to discover the facts, to do the research, and eventually create the designs that you'll use to develop your system. Now, there are 3 main activities that are going to take place during this phase: the requirements modeling, the data and process modeling, and then the consideration of various development strategies. Again, the context in the book will provide information to each of these 3 activities, including looking at the difference between a RAD and a JAD session, and some agile methodologies. The main objective of this phase is to understand the project, to make sure that it's going to support the business requirements and create a solid foundation that you'll use to design the systems later. You'll really be looking in at the business-related requirements for the new information system, including outputs, inputs, processes, performance, and controls. Now, how do you gather that information? There's a lot of different ways to gain information on a system, including some fact-finding activities such as interviewing people that are working on the project or the company, reviewing the documents, observing the system at work or the groups of systems that are in play, designing a questionnaire, sampling, and then doing additional research with that. These steps require strong communication and planning to make sure that you gather the information that you're looking for. You also want to make sure that you document the information carefully so that you know how to actually collect it, communicate it, and report back with it. I want to take a look at a couple of these in a little more detail, including one of the activities that you're going to be doing on the homework assignment, which is a functional decomposition diagram, or an FDD. What these are models of the business functions and the processes that are incorporated with them. And I want to take a look at one here. Now, this is the example from our textbook. And what this functional decomposition diagram is happens to be of a library management system. Now, this is not the TIM system from the book, but this is but any general system could be used to show that. Now, what happens is you start to construct similar to an org chart. So a top-down map that then starts to describe the various functions or departments that are necessary in that system. So in this particular case, we're looking at the library management system. Beneath that, there are 5 major functions: human resources, finance and accounting, library operations, fundraising, and new user acquisition. Each of these could have further details. So we're only looking at library operations, which include, again, 3 functions within that. So what happens in library operations? Operations budgeting, book management, and then personnel. Again, you could draw more details for those sections. So I could have a sub-branch under operations budgeting, but we're only going to focus in on the book management. And what happens in book management? Well, these are the processes that are necessary within the book management. The idea here is it's a top-down structure of the function of the system that you're looking at. So you really draw it and then you start to spell out the levels of detail underneath that. You could have different branches. There could be more things involved in that. But I just wanted to sort of work through one so that when you're asked to do this for the TIMS system this week for the homework, you have an idea of what you're working at. The next thing that I want to take a brief look at is a type of questionnaire. Now, I'm sure you've seen these surveys and questionnaires before, but the real key to this is have a clear sense of purpose and function for what you're doing. Notice here at the top of this example, it tells you what it is that you're trying to do. In this case, investigate the purchase requisition process and see how to improve that. You have a clear sense of who's being asked the types of questions, the selections that are general, that are going to get you good information with it, and then a sense of purpose and process on when it's going to be completed and what this looks like. These can be done online, but this is just a simple example to give you a sense of how to really focus in on just one particular task. I would encourage you to be focused and have a sense of purpose for the homework assignment. Now let's talk a little bit about that. The Unit 3 homework assignment is still due at its regular time on Tuesday, November 28th at 11:59 p.m. There are 4 main tasks that you're going to need to complete. And I'll show you the rubric and where to get that information in a moment, but let me talk you through each of those ideas. First, you're going to need to design a questionnaire for the former and potential students in the SCR's training classes. Now, my hint here is make sure that you have a clear purpose for your questionnaire. Try to really focus in on what is it that you want to learn from it, and then ask questions to, and this is where the sampling comes in, the real type of people that you want to ask to get that information. Sampling means that you're choosing some subset. Now, this could be a group based on geography, this could be a group based on age or budget or those sorts of things, but you don't necessarily need to have a questionnaire go to every potential student, but some subset or random sample of those students. So be thoughtful about how and to whom you're going to be sending this questionnaire to. Make sure that you read the JAD session summary in the data library and put together a list of the system requirements, including outputs, inputs, processes, performance, and controls. Just an outlined list that makes sure that you really start to understand the main function of the TIMS system based on those components. And again, you're going to get that information from the JAD session summary in the data library. And then finally, draw a functional decomposition diagram in FDD of the main function of the TIMS system. So what does that look like on the rubric? Here's the rubric here and how the points break down. And these are the list of the key documents that you're going to get to find the information to complete this assignment. Again, the Unit 3 JAD session in the document section of the classroom, and then the SCR inbox 41, 42, 4.3 and 4.4 will give you the key information for those components. Again, the main steps: design a questionnaire, provide recommendations for sampling, include the reasoning behind that recommendation, review the JAD session summary and compile a list of the system requirements, outputs, inputs, processes, performance, and controls, and then finally draw an FDD diagram of the main functions of the TIMS system. I really want to wish everybody a wonderful Thanksgiving. I will be available this week. You can find me in the usual locations, twitt@kaplan.edu. I can be reached by phone or text at 720-234-5992. In particular this week, if you want to get a hold of me, because I will be traveling quite a bit, text message is probably the best way to contact me. I can also be reached on Skype with the username twitfounder. And you'll find this is my vehicle when I'm storm chasing. In fact, I'm going to be heading towards Colorado, which is where this particular picture was taken. And then here's a picture of a tornado that we took during one of my taste trips. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I look forward to talking to you this week, and I can't wait to see your results soon. Have a wonderful break.